My name is Dean. Let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is May 19th, 2025. And although Bitcoin is on the brink of a major downtrend that I won't say very few people acknowledge, a lot of people are not acknowledging for some reason, right? There are some other assets in the cryptocurrency space, altcoins, that are actually on support and on the brink of a breakout. So, there comes a point in every cycle where this very thing happens. And this is the inflection point. This is the moment where altcoins decouple from Bitcoin, right? This is the official beginning, the start of what we call alt season. Very rare moment in the cryptocurrency cycle. And I want to look at what that looks like right now because you can already start to see it. So guys, this is what I want to mainly talk about today. If that all sounds interesting to you, then watch until the very end. So let's get started with Bitcoin. All right, I understand that there is some sort of debate about whether Bitcoin is going to rocket up and, rip through all-time high and just continue going because X, Y, and Z, there's liquidity here and there, and, this happened and that happened. Let's be honest. Any serious analyst, and I mean serious analyst, is bearish. It's really simple and straightforward that you can say Bitcoin is at a top right now. Obviously, we understand that pronouncement is colored by people's assumptions and opinions on what they call a cycle and a super cycle, and it's not over the bull market and the bear market. Like, people have these definitions in their minds. They haven't yet properly defined them, but then it warps the way they look at really simple price action. Like, anybody, my 8-year-old can look at this and say, oh yeah, that's a resistance, Dad. That's a resistance, and it looks like it's lasted for a while. What is this? The 4-hourly time frame? You're looking at a multi-year resistance right there. Is it multi-year? Let's see. No, it's not multi-year. It's 180 plus day resistance. Yeah. So that's a big freaking deal. Yet and still, you have, some people who will call themselves analysts who say, oh yeah, it could go here, it could go there. It's like, no, it's very clearly at resistance, very clearly at a top. Best case scenario, as I said in my previous video, is if Bitcoin comes back down to the midline of this 180-day channel, finds support, then rockets off. There's no scenario where this would just keep going and continue as if nothing happened. Like, it's clearly at resistance, even if you were bullish on Bitcoin. Like, that's the beauty of technical analysis. There are actually certain rules. There are certain sort of principles that you see time and time again. So you can say even a Bitcoin bull would be looking for this minimal 90K retracement. But if you think that this is, like we do on this channel, part of a larger retracement, then you're eyeing 60K thereabouts. All right, that I don't really want to go over too much. Like I said, I think it's pretty elementary that we're at resistance and that we're going to get a breakdown. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. But I guess let's look at this part of our purported Wyckoff distribution of 180 days and see what that looks like. So last we spoke, we were talking about it being in a very nicely defined rounded top and dome top, right? We typically see in price action, in chart analysis, extremities, tops and bottoms, they are defined by rounded features, okay? And so when we got up here, we could see that the price was kind of respecting this parabolic resistance until the weekend happened and we got this move seemingly breaking the parabolic resistance, but effectively creating another one. Do you see how that works? So you have one parabolic resistance and now you have another. That's how I see it. So if I had to, again, you know, one of the reasons technical analysis is so tricky is things change. It may not necessarily change your overall thesis, but it may change how you thought it was going to play out. And that's important. How is important, right? Especially when you're doing something as involved as leverage trading and stuff like that. You need to be really precise. But here, this is what I see. I see that we were correct in saying that there was some sort of top rounded feature on this this price action, and that led into another similar, sorry, I can't talk and find things, you guys know that, here, that led to a similar feature here. So let's try and flip this over. But I still think this is part of our pivot, our AB base, the final pivot of our 2 degrees of AB basing in a pivot, or 3 pairs of AB bases. But I still see that, you know, as an analyst, looking for patterns, looking for, okay, what's going on here? I see a rounded top going into another rounded top just a bit higher. That's how I see it. Does that help you? Not necessarily, right? I think the most helpful thing is actually to just look at all of this in as one contiguous unit, and just a wick above. That's it. It's a wick above, and it's a wick above in the shape of a bearish reversal pattern. So obviously I'm not excited bullishly by that, and I recognize what I'm seeing in terms of Elliott wave corrective patterning is my A wave, and all of this right here, let's see, A, B, that's my B wave. All that is my B wave. All of that was my B wave. B waves are treacherous. B waves are the most difficult thing to read in technical analysis, right? And this B wave looked like this. And that was the conclusion of the B wave. Remember, every corrective pattern ends in impulse. So that impulse to what people thought was going to be the breakout of Bitcoin to all-time highs and above was simply the impulse of this small b that we had identified. And then we have a quintessential flat correction rounding it out. It's kind of like, all right, let's take this, let's wrap it up with one last flat correction up here. Boom. That should be it. Again, I say should, because I was saying that I thought last we spoke, this was going to be the end of it, a breakdown from here. The other thing I want to remark is, all the while, notice we've been holding this support, right? So for the past about 2 weeks, Bitcoin has been holding on this support around 100K. Okay, so that's important because once we get down here and finally break this, you'll know for sure, with certainty, that this is complete. And if that is complete, then more likely than not, our 180-day pattern or 180-day distribution channel is complete. Okay, that also goes and lets us into a good indication as to what our first target can be. Our first target must be, if that is, like I said, a good support level that we've held for the past 2 weeks, then you know a breakdown should take us down to around 96.6 first before any bounces, and that first bounce should come retest the bottom support that we've been holding for 2 weeks as resistance, then keep going down. Okay, and just as a reminder, zooming out even more, let's give ourselves a little more real estate. But I wanted to keep the watch list here just to show you, like, everybody's so bullish, right? On, well, not everybody, but a lot of people that may not necessarily be chart literate are saying, oh, you know, this is the beginning of Bitcoin mooning and going, like, for them, this means nothing. It's just a bunch of lines on a screen, right? Like, how can you expect this to create sustained bullish momentum given the overall read on the market? In any case, what was I going to say? The watch list, right? If you're really bullish and you feel like, okay, this is the beginning of, you know, massive moves, you wouldn't necessarily want to see a red watch list many days throughout the week and many days throughout the weekend. And when it's green, it's only ever so slightly green. It's very, very marginally green, you know, 1%, 2%, 3% here. That's not what a bull run looks like. That is not what an actual bullish move looks like. That looks like consolidation. And if you're consolidating at a top, you're getting ready to distribute. Okay, so that's the idea here. So I said that my ultimate target was, I've been saying for many months, 65 to 70K. I think 60K is it. 60K is it to me. And let me say this. If I look at this distribution channel, now I have it in blue. I had it in red, but I don't really like the color red on my charts. Too much red. You see this distribution channel, 180 days of Bitcoin going in this channel, right? Take the height of it, right? So we're going to take the height of it with the line tool right here, and then take this line, if I can find it here, let me make it solid. Okay, take this line and superimpose it from the bottom of our channel, and what do you see? You get a target down to 57, 60K. I like 60K as a target. And again, 60K is confluent with the top. If you go on the weekly channel or weekly time frame, 60K is confluent with the top of this falling, descending broadening wedge, which was never retested as support. So I like 60K thereabouts for a target to the downside for Bitcoin. And if that is true, here's what I believe the impulsive matriculation looks like, more or less, right? I think your first major bounce is around 84.8. Okay, you're going to get a bounce more likely than not where I said around 96.6, but now I'm seeing the first major bounce around 84.8, and that's significant because that's where a lot of altcoins are going to start moving, in my estimation. I could be wrong, but I believe that that first move, right, down to this first target, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. That first move down to this first target, right, just about a 19% move. This is a big move for Bitcoin. And then a bounce all the way back up to around 95, 94, 95K. That move starts alt season for a lot of altcoins, okay? But some may start even sooner than that. And this is really what I wanted to talk about. I didn't want to rehash the whole Bitcoin's bearish, Ethereum's bearish. Like, if you can't see it, I can't help you. Like, it's really obvious, you know, that Bitcoin's toppy, Ethereum's toppy, HBAR's toppy, XRP's toppy. A lot of things are toppy, but some things aren't. And this is interesting because here we get nuanced. You can, and it's not often that you can be bearish on Bitcoin, but bullish on a whole set of other assets, because typically whatever Bitcoin does, everything else is going to do. And I do believe that this is the case as well. Like, Bitcoin's going to come down, and I don't necessarily think things are going to start mooning, but I'm giving this example as something that I have in my mentorship and consultation service. A lot of clients have Cardano, and so you see this chart that I've shared with my clients. This is where I'm expecting Cardano to find support, where you see this pink box, right? And why am I saying that? Well, I'm expecting Bitcoin to go down substantially. I'm expecting Ethereum to go down substantially. Those are two of the main assets in all of cryptocurrency. One is the king cryptocurrency. One is the king of the altcoins. How then is it possible that something like Cardano or anything else like Litecoin go up or be close to support? And this is what I'm saying. This is the magic of alt season. It kind of breaks convention, and the convention is whatever Bitcoin is doing, everything else is going to do even worse. And especially whatever Ethereum is doing, everything else is going to do but even worse. But the exception is alt season, where there's a special time, a few weeks of the year, every 4 years, or a few months every 4 years, every 5 years, 6 years, I don't know the periodicity of it, but that things break insofar as stuff just starts moving. And it's like, wait, but Ethereum's going down and it's not moving. Bitcoin's going down, it's not moving. But these are. And look at this chart. I want to show you this chart. And it's to the point where I even question it, because you don't see it that often. I'm like, no. Hold off here. That can't be true, right? These are the thoughts that are going through my head. But I have to trust my analysis, and my analysis said, for Cardano, this pink box was support. This is where I'd buy Cardano, right? And why? Well, look at this analysis, and I'm going to corroborate this with a view of what we're seeing in the Bitcoin dominance chart, okay? But look at what Cardano's been doing, right? So I'm gonna mark this up a little bit just so you can see what I'm seeing. And apologies that I haven't done this earlier, but we'll do it together. So here you have the quintessential matriculation up and out of a channel. All right, the larger channel that you're dealing with is this one. If you can't see it, I'm gonna mark it out for you. So you have this asset, Cardano, that's been in this channel, which is 190 days. Okay, so very, very comparable to what Bitcoin has been in, right? It's almost the opposite, right? So Bitcoin's been in a distributive channel. Meanwhile, Cardano's been in an accumulation channel, or a reaccumulation channel, okay? And let's zoom out for a second. How is it a reaccumulation channel? Well, a reaccumulation channel is simply a channel that accumulates at the bottom after having made a move up. So as you can see on Cardano's weekly time frame, you had the initial accumulation after the bear market drawdown. You had then some sort of corrective patterning into a higher accumulation channel. So accumulation channel number 1, reaccumulation channel. That's accumulation channel number 2. So for 180 or some odd days, you've been accumulating. Now look at this right here. This is an ascending broadening wedge. You're essentially just matriculating up and down this ascending broadening wedge. The final move that you've made is testing the midline of this multi-year ascending broadening wedge. And this is ascending broadening wedge, so that's about 100, almost, it's a little more than 800 days, this ascending broadening wedge, okay? So it's very, very confidence inspiring for any patterning that you're seeing, right? In turn, this ascending broadening wedge is the bottom of the cycle channel that Cardano's been in. So ever since its inception, Cardano can be channeled in this multi-year channel. This 800 plus day ascending broadening wedge is the bottom of that. So that's a massive accumulation. Okay, so that's the context for you on the high time frame. So going down into the smaller time frame, you can see that all you're doing now in this 180-day channel is retesting the midline of this 800-day channel. Remember, how do channels break? Any channel has to first work on the bottom, right? Base on support, move to the top, retrace from the top to the midline, what's the word I'm looking for? Convert the midline resistance that was previous resistance into new support. So previous resistance now flipped into new support. So for 180 days, that's what you've been doing in Cardano, flipping this 800 plus day channel's midline resistance into support. Okay, if you study Wyckoff accumulation channels, what you'll see is one feature of the final phase, I think it's phase D or phase E of the accumulation channel, is some sort of SOS, so sign of strength, up and out of the channel. So you'll see this a lot where the asset it'll kind of zigzag up and to the right in a strong channel up and to the right. So yeah, and you can pull up the Wyckoff accumulation schematic just to verify for yourselves. But here, that's exactly what you're seeing. You're seeing a matriculation up and to the right. And here, this is a 40-day ascending broadening wedge. And it's also giving you that up and to the right. So when I say, look, I know what I said about Bitcoin. I know what I'm saying about Ethereum. I know that they're at a top. But Cardano's on support, and I would buy it. And I'm even like, what am I talking about? That seems risky to me because of what I'm seeing in Bitcoin, what I'm seeing in Ethereum. But this is on support. I can't deny it. 40 days of support, right? This is just going to continue until it breaks this 800 plus day channel and just going to continue going up. So this is not the only example of altcoins being on support. Many such examples exist, but this is exactly what you see in alt season, where despite what Bitcoin may be doing or Ethereum may be doing, certain assets are in a different phase, and this means that just given any kind of liquidity, any kind of excuse to run up, they can break out. So that's what I'm seeing in Cardano, and there are other such examples like Coins One, I think AVAX is another one, but like many such examples of altcoins on support. Now, if this is true, we should see this reflected in our Bitcoin dominance chart. Remember what the Bitcoin dominance chart is. Bitcoin dominance is a measure of Bitcoin's dominance vis-a-vis the rest of the cryptocurrency market. If Bitcoin dominance is going up, that means you're seeing a dump in Bitcoin usually, or Bitcoin's pumping, altcoins aren't moving, or Bitcoin's dumping and altcoins are dumping even more. Bitcoin dominance going down means alt season. There's a decoupling. Bitcoin may be going down and maybe going sideways, but alts are running. That means they're gaining in market cap against Bitcoin. That's Bitcoin dominance going down. What then should we see on this chart if what I said is correct? Meaning, if despite Bitcoin looking to dump and its ultimate target being 60K, despite Ethereum looking to dump and its ultimate target being 1400 or something like that, we should see Bitcoin dominance also dumping because there are other altcoins, many altcoins, that are currently on support and they are on the brink of breakouts. We should then see Bitcoin dominance preparing to go down. And this is exactly what we're seeing. Look at this rising wedge, okay? This rising wedge broke down right here, okay? Now, let's go on the 4-hourly time frame. Any breakdown should be associated with a retest before the final breakout, okay? So this is exactly what we're seeing here. Breakdown of that multi-month wedge. The retest taking place. It's not finished yet, but it's taking place. My pink box is where I believe that retest finds ultimate resistance. That pink box is confluent with the midline of this rising wedge, and it's confluent with the golden pocket. Using my Fibonacci, I took the golden pocket of this breakdown. Okay, so let's zoom in even more so you can see. And this is what we're dealing with. Okay, so I'm seeing Bitcoin dominance reaching a level of resistance at this pink box, whereby this breakdown retest is complete. There's the breakout of Bitcoin dominance from this rising wedge, and a breakdown of Bitcoin dominance in an impulsive manner, which should be concurrent with the breakout of a lot of altcoins from their levels of support. So I thought that was really interesting. I know this is where it gets really nuanced, and you'll see a lot of analysts, a lot of market participants, this is not something they've comprehended, or even the possibility of this doesn't exist. For them, it doesn't make any sense. You can't both be bullish on altcoins and be bearish on Bitcoin, be bearish on Ethereum and be bullish on other altcoins. And I'm not talking about some random pump fund pump or some random meme coin pump. I'm talking about a whole slew of altcoins being on support, getting ready to pump, and it being clear that this is likely on the Bitcoin dominance chart, right? This is subtle, this is rare, but this is what happens in alt season. Guys, I hope that was helpful. I hope this was useful. Like, share, and subscribe. If you got value, consider tipping me by Venmo, Litecoin, Cash App, all at the pinned comment below. And do consider my crypto portfolio mentorship and consultation service that can be signed up to through the link in the pinned comment below. I go one-on-one with you for up to 2 hours every month and help you choose assets that are likely to pump in the bull market sustainably, right? And I help you identify levels of support and resistance on a monthly basis, where you should buy, where you should sell, all that stuff to maximize your portfolio and your gains. So you can sign up for that at the pinned comment below, guys. Hope you're well. Take care. And I'll arrived at the fork in the road, could turn back, repeat the same story, or march forward and embrace change and reflect upon his glory. I'm a selfish man, therein lies the whole problem. Torn between my actions and the will of my heart. I had to take it all apart to see where I stood as a man, to depart from this world and leave it in his hands. Come on.
Looks like I'm heading for the gold, y'all. Touring on a pothole road, y'all. I get it even if I didn't fit in, winning right up to the end, like I didn't even know, y'all. I have pop's genetics, working hard never to get it, like shit or better. Don't letting life get the best of my efforts. Instead I dedicated to bettering my steps, measuring investments, watch me do it to the death, y'all. Run it.